I want to do 12.5 number 47, which is one of these break this into bits things. It should be noted that the way they've phrased this, there's not a unique answer. There's a couple of different ways to do this one. So what I would start with is that bubble diagram that I always like to draw. So I'd say, all right, I've got h of x is the cube root of all of x squared plus 4, and I want to break this into two functions, right? So if I start with my bubble diagram, like over here I'm going to start with an x, right? What's the first step you do to x to make h happen? Square it. So that'll get you someplace. Then your next step's going to be add 4. And then your next step's going to be cube root. Right? Okay, so h is this whole business across the top, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see that? Okay, so they want me to break this into two pieces. There are 3, right? So you get to pick whether you do these 2 pieces and then that one, or this piece and then these 2. You can all see that? Totally up to you. I personally would have asked this question as decompose into F, G, and something else so that you could see all 3. But it doesn't matter, pick 2. What do you guys want to go with? These 2 together or these 2 together?
The first two.
First 2? Okay, so can you guys tell me what this function is?
F of x equals x squared plus 4.
Okay, it's x squared plus 4, I'm with that. But why don't I want you to use the label f on this? Which one do they want to have happen first?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they want g to happen first.
Okay.
You guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
That's really their restriction, right? They said break this into 2 functions and g goes first. So if g of x is x squared plus 4, then this guy, right? That's my h. No, that's my f. And what's the rule for that one?
Cube root.
Cube root of
Stuff.
x. You guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
So how do I actually answer this question? Like, what do I put in a box and circle?
The answer in the back of the book said that the cube root of x, and then parentheses, the square root plus 4. So it's just that, but parentheses.
That's poor notation on it.
Yeah.
It says let g of x equal x squared plus 4, the inside function, and f of x equal cube root of x, the outside function. That's all that is.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I want. So g is this, x squared plus 4, and f is the cube root of x.
So that's all we do is just take it apart.
Yep. This seems dumb because you've understood what I've been doing all semester. I've been phrasing things this way intentionally to make function composition, when we get to it, feel stupid easy. Because the thing that I want students to leave algebra with is functions. You guys have had so much exposure to functions at this point that you find inverses and composition to be pretty chill. Most students freak their shit when we get to inverses and composition. So, good on you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you guys are doing good. Can we do this the other way? Can you guys write down the other 2? So, I'm going to turn the camera off. Take a second to try to group the other way.
So plus 4.
So we want to do number 47 the alternate way, which is to group the other 2 functions, right?
Right.
So instead of grouping the first 2 and the last one, we're going to group the first one and the last 2. So the first one should be pretty chill.
Yeah. X squared.
That's x squared, and what label should we give that one?
G of x.
G, because they told us they have to do g first. Okay, so that's the first one is g of x is x squared, and the second one is going to be f of x is
Cube root of x
Cube.
plus 4.
Yeah.
Very nice. Cube root of x plus 4, which I would have gotten the opposite way, right? Like the way I would think about that is you start with an x, first thing you do is add 4,
Mm-hmm.
then you need to cube root the whole business. Cool?
Yeah.
So that's the alternate answer. Anybody come up with the alternate answer? The totally lame maneuver that you can always do with these.
Can you do like the first and last and then add 4 at the
Because you couldn't use
end?
the middle one as first and the second.
Yeah, that's good. You can't use like x plus 4 as the middle one in those two. But you can do a really dumb thing, which is add a step to the bubble diagram that, well, if I'm going to add a step to the bubble diagram, it has to not do anything, right?
So you have just x.
Yeah, the function f of x is x, right? Doesn't do anything to the output, it just returns the same thing. You see that?
Yeah.
So we could say like, well, the first thing you do is this rule, h, right? Your cube root of x squared plus 4. And then your next rule that you do, f, is just leave whatever you just gave me, right? So when I stick this stuff in the box for that, of course I get the same thing, right? What's the other way to do this?
G of x is x and f of x is.
Yeah, exactly. So, or the other way, right? Right? So there's 4 different ways to do this problem, 2 of which are really dumb, right? Where one is just the return whatever you gave it function.
Yep.
And the other 2 of which are kind of valid. The first one I think is probably the best one,
Mm-hmm.
but this one's also okay.
That's still correct, then?
Yeah, these 2 are still correct. Which is why, yeah, it's decomposed into 2 functions, f and g, so that f composed with.
Everything and nothing is 2 functions.
So it's not quite everything and nothing. It's you're doing everything interesting here and yeah, nothing interesting here, but you're still doing something, right?
Cool. Okay. I like that.
Yes. The rule in my head that goes with do nothing is smash everything.
Haven't slept in 3 days after that basis.
Like this is another option for a function, right? If you compose this with anything though, it smashes all of it, right? So, yeah, I don't know why I brought that up. Cool? Questions? No? Awesome.